This is RJ Carbone, and you're listening to BD4.
One by Mattingly. Oh, hang on to the roof. The Rose. He shook up the world again.
Anthony for three.
Bang! That one goes down. And the game is tied.
See ya. A monster home run. Back-to-back home runs by the baby Bombers.
Penetrates, creates, and showing some dexterity as well with the left hand.
It's the left. It's on its way. There it goes. And the Yankees are going for the win. Oh! It's good. Off the window. Oh, unbelievable. The first punch he threw.
Houston ducks under. Got it. With 8 tenths left.
It's time. Yankees win. Yankees win.
All right. Well, that was better. Really should have swept that series, but they were able to salvage it with the final 2 games there, taking 2 out of 3. What's happening, everybody? I'm your host, RJ Carbone, and you are listening to, or maybe watching, episode 372 of BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA on the weekends. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on the weekends. So, if you are new here, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. And if you feel free, if you feel like it, if you enjoy this podcast and you haven't subscribed yet, be sure you subscribe. And download the episodes on whatever platform you're listening to the show on. You can listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, and if you do listen to us there, give us a 5-star rating and review. We're currently a 5-star podcast. Would like to keep it that way. Spotify, SoundCloud, Anchor, Google Podcasts, many other listening platforms. You can also watch the podcast on Spotify and YouTube. And again, be sure to subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Comment if you want. Give me some feedback. Give me your take on a few things going on with the Yankees. Whatever you want to share, be sure to do that. And guys, I also write a blog. I write for ultimatesportsnetworks.com. So if you go there and you put into the search bar either my name or the title of my blog, you'll find my blog, the Bomber Bacher blog, and you can subscribe to the Bomber Bacher blog on ultimatesportsnetworks.com by using promo code 6A2841ERJC. All right, this way you get discount 10% off everything using promo code 6A2841ERJC if you go and subscribe to the Bomber Bacher blog on ultimatesportsnetworks.com. And lastly, you can also find me on social media. If you want to find me on Facebook, that's r.j.carbone, RJ Carbone. And you can also find me on Instagram at robjcarbone. So, with that all said, welcome to the show. Guys, tonight, now, this isn't going to be as short as episode 371 was, which, listen, I was really annoyed with the way that Chicago White Sox series went, in particular the 2 games on Sunday. So I didn't even have an episode. I mean, it was literally a 4 or 5 minute rant, and then that was it. We did nothing. So this will be a short episode, but it won't be that short. Just because I've got work in the morning. I started a new job. And so I'm going to be doing, some of the weekday episodes might not be 45 minutes to an hour. They may be closer to 30 to 45 minutes. But we'll still be able to get everything in because we're efficient like that on the show. So without anything else said, I think we said everything we needed to. Let's dive into the show. Let's talk about this 3-game set where the Yanks took 2 at home to wrap up their homestand against the Orioles. First, we'll head to our first break. Be right back. Stay with us. All right, welcome back to the show. I am your host, rjcarbone, and you are listening to episode 372 of the podcast. I am your host, RJ. Thank you for tuning in, and let's talk about it. Let's start up, of course, with our NYY-NYK-MMA Question of the day to warm up our brains. So we did not have a question of the day for 371, which again was a joke of an episode. I just had to throw something out there because I was angry and ranted and didn't have the energy to do a full organized episode. So for episode 372, we are back with the NYY-NYK-MMA Question of the day. And this time I am asking you, pretty simple, who leads the Yankees all time in sacrifice flies? That's as a hitter, of course. Who leads the Yankees all time in sacrifice flies? All right, so let me know the answer. If you get it correct, I'll give you a shout out in the next show. If you get it incorrect, but at least attempt to guess the answer, I'll let you know what the answer is in the next show. All right, but for this show, let's talk Yanks right now. Let's get right into the show and go over game 1 of this series, which, it was rough. The Yankees took the 6-4 loss. And you hate losing games with your ace on the mound, right? That was a big problem for the Yankees last season. It was when Gerrit Cole took the mound that they found ways to lose instead of win. These are games you must win, especially Gerrit Cole against the Baltimore Orioles. So it was Cole versus Lyles. Bottom of the first, the Yanks did score for him early. Judge homered to center field. It was 1-0. Bottom of the second, the Yanks tacked on. Hicks reached third on an error. Trevino, the RBI single to center field. It's 2-0 Yankees. Top of the third, that's when the tide kind of changes a bit. Gerrit Cole gets rocked. We'll get to the specifics later, but he surrenders, an RBI double to Trevino. It was a 2-run single to Hayes. Then another run came across on a ground ball force out later. It was 4-2 Baltimore after the top of the third. Bottom of the fifth came. The Yankees did tie it up. Judge drilled his second bomb of the game to left field for a 2-run home run. The Yankees tied at 4. Top of the sixth, Gerrit Cole got tagged for another run. This time it was Urias with a solo bomb. It's 5-4 Baltimore. Top of the ninth, Peralta in. What does Wandy do? He hangs a changeup. Chirinos gets a deep sac fly out of it to the warning track in left field. It's 6-4 Baltimore, and the Yankees lose once again. At the time, it was 3 in a row, and I believe 4 of their last 5. It was a really rough game to watch. You need to win those games. Gerrit Cole ended up going 8 innings, 7 hits allowed, 5 runs, no walks, 11 strikeouts, 1 home run, 110 pitches, and the loss. His fastballs were mainly the problem in this game. His fastballs were getting obliterated, and I use that plural because there are a bunch of hard hit outs on the cutter, for one, but also that third inning. Jesus, talk about a batting practice four-seamer. The third inning, you had Urias, the leadoff double, off of the four-seamer. You had Chirinos, for back-to-back doubles off of a four-seamer the very next at-bat. Mullins singles off his four-seamer 2 batters later. Then Hayes gets the slider. And then Mancini, the single later in the inning off a four-seamer. The home run he allowed in the 6th inning came off the four-seamer. It was rough. We saw when Cole struggled last year and at the beginning of this year, the fastball was getting hit around, right? When Boston beat him up, it was the fastball. Really just like post-spider attack when everybody, including myself, was making a big deal of is he going to be the same? It was the fastball that got hit around. I don't know if he was tipping his pitches. That very well could have been a case on was it Tuesday? Was this a Tuesday game? No, this was Monday. I don't know. He could have been tipping his pitches, whatever it was, gave up 5 runs. And then he had some dominant innings in there, too. It was very frustrating, right? He had a strong first inning with 14 pitches, gets 2 strikeouts in the second inning. Every out was a strikeout in the 5th and 6th inning, and, just 1 hit in those 2 innings, the home run. Had no walks, and then had 11 strikeouts overall. And he went 8 innings, saved the bullpen. But again, as the ace of the team, the guy who's making the money, you're not going to get that benefit of the doubt of at least you won 8, he struck out 11, blah, blah, blah. You can't respond to a repulsive Sunday as the ace by surrendering 5 runs to the Baltimore O's. That can't happen. So if you're Garrett Cole, he needs to bounce back in this Tampa series at the Trop this weekend. So he had the great string of starts, a bump in the road. Hopefully that's all that was against Baltimore there. But now he needs to put together a great one versus a much better lineup, much better team in the Tampa Bay Rays. Going to be going up against better pitching toe-to-toe with. So, but it's funny, man, because, most Yankees fans know what they're talking about, I like to think. But, like, I read this one blog from time to time. I'm not going to say the title of the blog because I don't want to be harsh and mean to them, because they're I like to think they produce good content. But from time to time, I'll read their blogs just for, like, pure cringe and entertainment. Because talk about excuse making and over-analyzing, trying to sound smart and technical to a point where you sound ridiculous. I mean, Jesus Christ. In this blog, it was recapping the game on Monday, and you keep seeing the word weird to describe Cole's start. Weird. Just call it bad. Like, just call it flat out bad. They kept bringing up the strikeouts, the 8 innings, the no walks. Just call it bad. Like, nobody gives a damn about the strikeouts to walks ratio if you're getting smacked around for hits and hard hit outs. Doesn't BABIP say that was not a good performance? Like these analytics queens who've never played baseball in their life, or who were maybe never really great at it because they didn't put in the work ethic, are the same ones who most likely grew up receiving participation trophies and calling others stubborn who disagree with their stubbornness. It's nobody talks like that in real life. Like, nobody talks about FIP in real life. You never see anybody talk about WOBA or FWAR or all this. Like, nobody. You ever go to a game and talk to a real Yankees fan? They're gonna laugh at you if you start talking like a robot. They're gonna laugh at you. Nobody gives a shit. But they're just in their own little bubble. All right, and I just thought, just to keep they did everything they could to not call Garrett Cole's start a down start. That's all you had to say. It was an off start. You could have said he bounced back on the next one. Weird. And they kept going back to, well, he had some positives in there. Oh, Christ. Peralta threw an inning, 2 hits, 1 run, no walks, no homers, no strikeouts. He's barely being used by Aaron Boone, along with some others, or at least he wasn't. I'm sure he's going to be relied on now. So you wonder why he was so rusty. Odor, singles off of his hanging sinker. Urias, the same thing, then the sac fly there. But yeah, that's all for the pitching. Offensively, the Yankee bats, not much, not a whole bunch. Let's go back to the big screen here. Where are we? Oh, yeah, 4 runs on 5 hits, 2 for extra bases, 4 walks, 9 strikeouts, 2 double plays hit into, 1 for 4 in scoring position, 5 left on base, and 1 error in the field. That was by Rizzo. There was no DJ in this game. We'll get to that. No Donaldson, Gallo, and Higgy. We'll get to all that. Yeah, Judge was 2 for 3. He had the 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, and a walk in that game. There's not much to describe his season other than he's just been phenomenal. I think he's having a better season this year than he did back in 2017. He's hitting the balls just as far, because last year he had a good year. He had a very good year, but he wasn't hitting like 2017 shots. This year, he's hitting 2017 shots, and he's batting well over 300. I mean, he's just matured so much as a hitter. He's not just a slugger. I know that's cliche, but Aaron Judge is don't want to use the word contact hitter because he strikes out a lot, but he's a hitter. He's a complete hitter. I think it's the best way to describe him. Rizzo, Gleyber, and Trevino, the only other Yankees in the game with a hit. Rizzo also walked Trevino and RBI in there. Hicks and Florial, the only others to reach base with a walk apiece. Stanton, slumping. I was going to talk about this is who he is, how he's just hot and cold. He started, chasing the outside slider recently. But I'm going to, attribute that to the injury for now. But we'll get to that. Lyles, the Yankees, he went 6 2/3, 3 runs. So he pitched a quality start. He's faced us 4 times this season. And in 3 of those outings, he's allowed 3 earned runs or less. I mean, come on. If you go look this guy up on Baseball Reference, Jordan Lyles, no disrespect, but this is a guy with a career .516. And he's been in baseball since 2011 in the big leagues. And he's got a career .516 ERA. So Lyles he's not some up-and-coming prospect. He's a 31-year-old journeyman pitcher who the Yankees, for some reason, can't figure out. They got to him once, and they got to him pretty good, but 3 out of 4 of his starts against the Yankees should not have went the way they went. But the Yankees, again, they were able to bounce back. Tuesday was probably one of the more emotional wins of the season. And let's get right into Tuesday's game, where the Yankees took the extra innings victory 7-6 after 11. It was Montgomery versus Jordan Zimmerman. The bottom of the first, the Yankees once again scoring early. Gotta love it. Rizzo, a solo home run to the second deck in right field versus the lefty Zimmerman. Goes lefty on lefty. He's always been able to hit left-handed pitching. 1-0 Yankees. Bottom of the third, the Yankees score again via the solo shot. This time it's Trevino going into the Baltimore bullpen, 2-0. Bottom of the fourth, another solo shot when Gleyber Torres homers to left center field, 3-0. In the top of the fifth, the Orioles do play to run. Odor, the RBI ground out, it's 3-1. Top of the seventh, the tide kind of shifts. Monty surrenders a home run to Hayes. It's 3-2. King later surrenders a home run to Odor. It's 5-3. Baltimore takes the lead. Bottom of the seventh, the Yankees do clutch up again, though. Gleyber Torres home run to left center over the State Farm sign. 5-4 Baltimore. Then Trevino, the big RBI single to right field, ties the game at 5. In the bottom of the seventh. You go to the top of the 11th. Once we get to extras, an inning after the 10th, Manfred Runner scores for the Orioles when Hayes grounds out. It's 6-5 Baltimore. Bottom of the 11th, though, that's when the Yankees walk it off. IKF, the RBI single to tie it at 6, bringing home the Manfred Runner. Trevino then gets the big one, the walk-off RBI single. The Yankees win 7-6. Now, there's a lot to unpack in this game, so I want to get to all of that as soon as we get back from break. We're going to take another quick break here on the show. Stay with us. We will be right there.
Hey guys, so I've noticed that only a small portion of you who watch BD4 on YouTube are actually subscribed. So if you do enjoy this podcast and maybe you want to be notified when new episodes release, I'd consider subscribing and also hitting that notification bell. This way we can help the channel grow and you won't miss a single episode of BD4. Alright, let's get back to it.
So if you guys want to follow me on social media, be sure to do so right now. I'm on Facebook at rjcarbone, and I'm also on Instagram at rjcarbone. Once again, if you want to find me on Facebook, that is rjcarbone. Instagram at robjcarbone. Welcome back to the show. You are listening to episode 372 of BD4. I am your host, RJ Carbone. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Lots more to come. All right, so from this game 2, Wednesday night? No, this was Tuesday night. Yeah, lots to unpack. First of all, Montgomery goes 6+ innings, 4 hits surrendered, 2 runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts, a home run, 88 pitches thrown, and another no decision. I'm starting to think that pitcher Jordan Montgomery will never get a win. He will never get run support. I feel bad. Like they scored 3 runs for him, which was maybe the most they've scored for him outside of his last turn in the rotation, where I think they scored 5, maybe. But man, it's gotta suck. Like, I know the wins don't mean anything to fans, but I'm a pitcher, and anybody else who has pitched, in their life in competitive baseball, they'll tell you the same thing. You want the win. You pitch to get a win. You like the look of it. You like the look of a record. Next to your name, you like seeing wins. And, talk to Andy Pettitte about that. Talk to a lot of pitchers. They want the win. It helps them motivate themselves. It helps them thrive. And Jordan Montgomery, it sucks to see that we're sitting here on May 25th as I record. As you're listening to this episode, it's May 26th on Thursday, and Jordan Montgomery is 0-1. He's got no wins. It's May 26th as you're listening. So it's got to suck. I feel so bad for him because he's pitched very well. He's pitched really well. He's allowed 3 runs or less in each of his 9 starts. He's got an ERA in the low 3s, and he still doesn't have a win. I don't know. Some people attribute it to his low energy, his body language. I don't know. It's gotta. Is there a conspiracy theorist out there who can tell me what's going on here? Because it's gotten to a point where, remember, it's not just these 9 starts. Last season, all of last season, very much the same theme. I don't get it. Also, again, this game you see Aaron Boone. Boone does the whole Monty bullpen clean innings nonsense. Again, it happens every time. He gets the reliever up. But Monty goes back out. He allows the hit, and then the reliever comes in the game. How many times does Boone do this? I don't understand why he goes with this approach. Like, is he trying to steal outs? Is he being extra cautious? I don't get it. But just call it 6. It would have been 6 innings, 1 run. Great start. And, or if you're going to let him go back out there, let him go back out there. Give him a longer leash, because Monty's been one of the few Yankee pitchers who, he's probably the one with the shortest leash for some reason. Let him work through that hit he gave up. Like, just it's maddening to me. The relievers coming into a game so often with men on base. Let them get clean innings. Michael King pitched. So he pitched 2/3 of an inning. All right, 0.2 innings. Allowed 2 hits, 3 runs, a walk in there, no strikeouts, a home run, and got the blown save. So he gets beat up against the Chicago White Sox the other night. right? The doubles game with 3 doubles. He's been relying heavily on that four-seamer. Last night, very similar. He's getting hit hard again. But for some reason, he's just been going away from the sinker, I feel like. Rushman, the number 1 prospect, hits the four-seamer for a base hit. He walks Urias where he went away from the four-seamer, but then Odor cracks the shit out of that four-seamer, and then King is pulled. I don't know, man. He's missing location a ton. Maybe he's overworked because we've been relying on him so heavily. Now, he is young, and I made that comment the other day that I might regret. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe the innings do need to be a little more spread even. So maybe you give up the multiple innings thing with Michael King, and maybe you just go 1 inning for him so you can get more games out of him this way and better performance. I don't know. But he's been struggling. The ERA's up to, I think, 2.9, which is still very good for a reliever, but considering how great he was outside of 2 hiccups, it sucks. Sucks to see it go up that high. But Licky, Holmes, and Peralta, they were fine. No run surrender between those 3. Yeah. I mean, Holmes was awesome in the 8th inning of that game. 10 pitches, 9 strikes, 1, 2, 3. I think he only went 1 inning, 10 pitches because they wanted to save him so we could toss more tonight, which he did. Schmidt looking very sharp in this game. Another young arm who could be very key with Chad Green out, with Chapman washed and out, with Lasagna out, with King struggling at the moment. If Schmidt can keep doing what he's been doing this second time up with the team, that'd be great. He went 2 innings, no hits. I think 1 Manfred run scored, but nothing else outside that. No walks, gets a strikeout, and he got the win, I believe. He's now 3-2 with a 0.69 ERA. 13 innings pitched this season, just 1 earned run. So keep that up. Clark Schmidt looking great. Got a good curveball. Throws pretty high velocity. I like what I'm seeing. The bats. 7 runs on 11 hits, 4 for extra bases. They were all home runs. 4 walks, 12 strikeouts, 2 double plays hit into Judge, 3 for 9 in scoring position, 9 left on base. Against Zimmerman specifically, he went 6 1/3. We scored 4 off him. We scored 1 off Gillespie. 2 off of Baker. 1 of them was earned. And the Keegan Aiken guy is pretty good. He kills us all the time, I feel like. 3 walks. But he gets 6 strikeouts through 2 1/3, no runs allowed. He's pretty good. But obviously the story in this game on Tuesday night, how can it not be Jose Trevino? And Jose Trevino is one of our 2 featured position players of the series. So claps for Jose Trevino. This series, I don't know why he didn't play the 3rd game. I hate when Boone does that. When a guy's hot, a guy just has a big moment, he sits the next game. I get it. Higgy was just out a while. You want to get him an appearance in there. But damn. Jose Trevino, though. This series in 2 games, he goes 4 for 7. 3 singles, a home run. 4 RBIs, 2 strikeouts, a walk. 7 total bases. Yeah, man, he's doing it. He's doing it. In his last, I think, 13 games, he's batting .324. After that, I mean, I think he's got, I think that was the game where he's become a fan favorite. You know? And he's been solid all season. It wasn't just one game. Like, we know about the catching, the pitch framing. He keeps the ball in front of him. We know how well he's handled the pitching staff. But we've been getting a few. Now, that's another clutch hit from him. We've gotten a few this year. He's actually .333 with runners in scoring position this season. He's .314 with men on base. And he's .444, 4 for 9, late and close. So, but how awesome was that? I mean, if you're watching that game, how awesome of a moment must that be? To see Jose Trevino come through like that. That was a moment where it was no accident, right? There was no accident. I mean, you're talking about this is a kid born in Texas. He played there. And on the same day of the attack yesterday that happened, he goes out and he does this. I'm sure it hit him hard. And to cap it off, he does this on his late father's birthday. And he was talking about it in the interview, how he and his father always used to go in the backyard and envision this moment of him in the Bronx hitting a walk-off for the Yankees. And he did it. So that's what he was doing. If you saw him pointing to the sky, rounding first base, going to second, during the walk-off in the bottom of the 11th there, he was pointing to his poppy. I'm not using that term, but that's that. Poppy is what he was saying. Just for, clarity. But that was amazing. That was such an emotional, cool moment. It was one of those moments where I refuse to believe that as coincidental. Like, I think that happened as like it was supposed to happen. Whether you think the universe did it, God, the baseball gods, or I do think that was not a coincidence. That certain things line up way too much for it to just be it's just a coincidence. That was one of those moments where you're like, wow, And they were bringing up a good point. I was listening to Talking Yanks for a few minutes before I hopped on here, and John Boy was saying, like, you always see these other journeymen who come to the Yankees talking about how they've always, well, not just journeymen, but like players from other teams joining the Yankees, like talking about it, bragging about how they used to be a Yankees fan. They were Yankees fans their entire life. Tulowitzki and the whole Jeter thing, Garrett Cole at the Yankee Stadium, going there as a kid, bringing the sign, Yankees fan forever, whatever it was. IKF talks about being a Yankees fan his whole life. Like, guys brag about it right when they come here to make sure the fans, are in on them and stuff. Trevino didn't do that. He didn't play that card until this moment, right? Like, you didn't hear about that stuff until you had to. So, it's like he's a humble dude. He seems like a very humble guy, and a lot of Yankees fans like him. And again, it seems like Jose Trevino is becoming a fan favorite here. It's funny, because you get these guys out of nowhere, right? Credit to Cashman, because the kid looks like a solid guy to have around. But it's just like Cashman always seems to go and get these journeymen who get off to slow starts in their career, but they come to New York and they find it, right? Luke Voigt, Gio Urshela. And now it's like Nestor Cortez is one of those guys. And now Jose Trevino, I'm not putting him in the same category as those other three, right? He's not going to put up crazy numbers like those three did for us, are doing for us. But he's going to help your team contribute just as much because he's a great catcher, good veteran to have around the clubhouse, and he's been getting big hits. So you got to give him credit. And remember, we traded for this guy last second. He came last second, had to learn the pitching staff, and we gave away Albert Abreu. I mean, I was against that. I was like, whoa, this is what we're giving up Abreu for? But yeah, it's funny how that works. So awesome to see Trevino get that moment there. Very much deserved it. So he is one of the two featured players of this series. Rizzo was 1 for 3 in this game. He had a home run, 2 walks. Gleyber Torres 2 for 5. 2 home runs, 3 runs scored. Miggy Andujar 0 for 5 in this game. He had the almost home run in the second, and then he had the fly out to right field late where he moved the runner over to third. IKF had 2 hits, also has been coming up. He's also been coming up clutch for the Yankees. Marwin Gonzalez was 1 for 3, also had a walk in there. Florial in game 2 looked pretty overmatched. Should probably send him back down. Actually, I think they did after the game tonight. He just looks very overmatched. He needs to go back down. He looks like dog shit up here. Go work on your shit. I don't know. Judge, pretty brutal night for Judge in the middle game. It was bound to happen. I mean, he's been so good. He was 0 for 5, 2 strikeouts, 2 double plays hit into. So he hit into 7 of the 27 outs for the Yankees, or 24. Hicks had 2 hits, but, nobody cares because actually it was more than 24 outs. They went to extras. Hicks had 2 hits, but nobody cares because once again he continues to flop, to fail, to crash and burn when it matters. Wow. I mean, I have no more words left. I'll just update you on the numbers, okay? This was entering tonight. 3 for 26, 115 in scoring position. 5 for 42, which I think he's 5 for 43 now after tonight. But 5 for 42, 199 with men on base. 3 for 22, $136 late and close. That one at bat in the middle game almost felt like he was doing it on purpose. It really did. 3 pitches, 3 gigantic hacks, 3 absolute whiffs. And he does that all the time. He also got caught going from third to home, going on contact during that ground ball in the 10th inning there. I don't know if that was him. I don't know if that was the Yankees telling him to go on contact. But at the time, I was giving him shit because he had a bad enough night to where, why not tack it on? He sucks. He's been pretty brutal. But one of the things I did like was how the Yankees at the end there won the game via the base hit. 3 consecutive singles. Right? I don't think that means anything. I don't think that's any indicator because that's, this lineup is who they are. And I just think it was just refreshing. You had IKF base hit, Marwin Gonzalez base hit, Trevino base hit, all in a row. And that's the bottom of the order, folks. The so-called automatic outs produced there in the clutch. Again, DJ was scratched, some injury news. He had the wrist injury. But they think he'll be good to go sometime in the first 2 games of the Tampa series. It's a 4-game set. Stanton left after 2 at-bats for Florial. Calf injury. He's on the DL. Shocker. It's good to expect these things because when it happens, you can take it much easier. Boone did say in the postgame tonight that he's expecting Stanton to take the minimum 10 days. So that's good, but take it with a grain of salt because the Yankees will say shit and then something else happens, I feel like. But, hopefully. Higgy was reinstated, played tonight, was 1 for 3, but we're still talking about game 2. Gallo and Donaldson, I imagine Donaldson will be back soon. Gallo came back for game 3. They showed the graphic tonight in the 3rd game, all in 5 days. They showed all the injuries that happened in the last 5 days. It's pretty crazy how everything just happens at once. It's almost hard to believe. It's like they're trolling us because that's like so unrealistic. It is. It's unrealistic. But listen, if they're truly a great team, the Yankees, they will find a way to win regardless. So I'm not going to make excuses for them. They still have plenty. They still got Judge. They still have Rizzo. LeMahieu, if what they say is true, should be back. They still have Cole, Severino, Cortez is pitching tomorrow. Like, they got guys they should be able to, if they, achieve the way they're supposed to achieve, they should be able to get it done. So, go beat Tampa at the Trop. That was one of my goals. I want to see the Yankees go to the Trop and win. LA after that, but they, I'm not going to make excuses because they got some injuries. Every team deals with it, and the Yankees are supposed to be a team with depth. Let's talk about the 3rd game of the series. The Yankees won tonight, as I'm speaking, on Wednesday. Game 3. Excuse me. 2-0 win. No DJ, no Donaldson, no Stanton. So, we were short a bit. So, we weren't going to, didn't expect them to score a ton. 2-0. JP Sears versus Wells. Sears making his debut. The only time there was any scoring was in the 4th inning. The bottom of the 4th inning. The Yankees scored a pair when Miggy ripped a liner to left field for an RBI single. It was 1-0. And then during the Gallo at-bat, Miggy steals second. I think that prospect Rushman throws the error to second base. And on that poor throw, goes into the outfield. Gleyber scores. So that makes it 2-0 Yankees. And that was it. It was just a game of pitching. JP Sears, he's actually our featured starting pitcher of the series, is JP Sears. 5 innings pitched, no earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, 3 hits. They were all singles, and 84 total pitches thrown. Yeah, man, I loved what we saw from him. He got the win in his first major league start. I thought he was going to be like an opener or at most give you like 60-something pitches, 4 innings maybe. He went 5 innings, 84 pitches, got the win. So, because they said during the game, I think they said 65 pitches was the most he's thrown this year, down below. But it was a very much needed outing from Sears. We needed somebody to give us credible innings today, and he gave us more length than we thought, and he did not allow a single run. He was fastball slider today, throwing that 94, 95 sinking fastball, getting swings and misses with both pitches, and his location was fine. At times he struggled with command, a couple of walks in there, but the defense did make him work extra early on. He had that botched double play between IKF and Gleyber, which was brutal. But it was a good performance. His family was getting interviewed by Ruocco during his start. His dad wanted nothing to do with Ruocco. And I actually think that along with Florial, I think I saw that JP Sears was also sent back down after tonight's game, which, roster shit. Marinaccio. Great night for Marinaccio. I'm hoping he can become something good here. He pitched 2 clean innings for the Yankees, no hits, no walks, no runs, 3 strikeouts. He looked great. Litke was in after that. He looked good. Castro was fine. And Holmes. A couple of hits in there, but he got it done. They shut it down from there, those 3 guys. The bats, 2 runs on 6 hits, 1 extra base hit, no walks. Jack Curry called the no walks thing in the pregame because of who was pitching for Baltimore. 5 strikeouts and 2 for 7 in scoring position, leaving 4 on base. Miggy Andujar led the team in hits tonight with 2 hits. Let's see if we can get the highlights up. Here we go. Miggy Andujar led with 2 hits. And, man, I really hope he produces. Like, I want it so bad. I want Miguel Andujar to come up here and earn a spot. Like, I'm just happy to see him back up with the team. I loved, like, a few years ago in his rookie year, man, when he came up here, batting just under 300, contending for Rookie of the Year. He and Gleyber in that 8 and 9 spot in the order. Miggy was this line drive, doubles down the line hitter. Oh, man, big contact, squared up every time. He had that helicopter. I just loved watching him. I loved the line drive hitter, the doubles guy, the contact guy. I think he can hit. I hope he can still hit. I think he's a hitter. I really think it's there. And, one of the comparisons I made to him early on in his career was Alfonso Soriano. Excuse me. I think that's the type of hitter he is, where he's very aggressive up there and he squares it up. I don't know, man. He's just so fun to watch when he's on. So hopefully he can finally start getting consistent reps here and show the Yankees, look, I can still hit. And he's playing an okay left field too. He's not been tested a bunch, but he's making good reads and he's covering ground to his left, to his right. Made an okay play tonight going to his right. I like what I'm seeing from Miggy Andujar. So he led the team with 2 hits tonight. Judge, Gleyber, Marwin, and Higashioka, the other Yankees with the hit. Higashioka returned and went 1 for 3. Gleyber looks good lately. He's the other featured starter or featured position player of the series is Gleyber Torres, who went 4 for 12, 2 base hits, 2 home runs, 2 RBIs, 4 strikeouts, no walks, 10 total bases taken in the series. Yeah, man, I love what I'm seeing from Gleyber. In the series, he raised his batting average 10 points. Just got to be consistent. He's just got to be consistent, right? His approach is there. He's going to center field a lot. He's going to right field a lot. That's there. I know he pulled a couple last night, but his approach looks a lot better. He's just got to keep the consistency. You know, he also had some trouble in the field tonight a few times. 2 plays early on. But, you know, I have a theory. Now, I know he's hitting right now in cleanup, and it's fine. But historically speaking, he's struggled in that spot because he tries to pull the ball a lot and he tries to hit home runs because he's batting 4. And if he's like that, why not put him leadoff? Because I've talked about how I like Gleyber at leadoff too. But if you're talking about mentality, bringing a different approach to the plate when you're batting cleanup, why not bat him leadoff so he can have that? Maybe he can keep that consistent right center field approach if you put him 1. Right? Hey, I got to get on base for my team, so I got to be extra focused in here, take pitches that I need to take, try and draw walks if I need to, or just set up for a single to right field. Like, maybe that's good for him. Maybe try leading him off in games where DJ isn't. Maybe you got to slide DJ down to 5 because DJ is not hitting too well. Maybe, I don't know. Like while DJ has been out, like I would have much rather taken Gleyber at that spot than Aaron Hicks. Like all those times Aaron Hicks has led off for us so far this year, they could have went to Gleyber. I don't know, man. But yeah, he's my other featured position player of the series. Yeah, I mean other than that, I have Gallo return tonight. He was 0 for 4. It's all right. Hicks 0 for 4, and he got lazy at the end of tonight's game. In a big spot, Hicks jogging to a bloop hit in center field. How many times has he done that this year? How many times has he done that in his Yankees tenure? It's hard to keep count. It's disgusting. It's pathetic, and I don't know why this guy is even on a major league roster. Hopefully, the Yankees can trade for Soto. Soto plays right. Judge plays center, and you got your left fielder in Gallo. Stanton mixes in there occasionally, and you could tell Hicks to go play golf because I know he loves golf so much. Oh my gosh, he sucks. Good series, guys. It's funny because I said I'd go 30 minutes to 45 minutes, and we're coming up on 50 soon. So we're going to wrap it up here. I got to get to bed. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. I'm your host, RJ You're listening to episode 372 of BD4. I appreciate you stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's go to the Trop and please win. Take 3 out of 4 at the very worst. Let's go show something. Let's make a statement and beat the share of the Rays because I'm tired of being the beta when it comes to the Yankees versus Rays. Let's go. Thanks, guys. Ciao. This podcast is brought to you by Anchor. It's the best way to make a podcast. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm.